I was cleaning out the closet when I found the folder, hidden in a box under old sweaters. Inside were documents with my husband Chris's name, but not the story I knew. No college diploma, instead a GED certificate, foster care records, a last name that wasn't the one on our marriage license. Everything he'd told me about his life before we met was a lie. I sat on the bedroom floor holding papers that belonged to a stranger, or maybe to the man I married. I didn't know anymore. Before I continue, please subscribe to my channel. Your support helps me share more stories like this. We'd been together for 9 years, married for 6, met at a work conference when I was 26 and he was 28. He worked in tech, said he graduated from state with a computer science degree, said his parents lived upstate but they weren't close, that he had a normal childhood but his family was private. I never questioned it. Why would I? He had a good job, was smart, successful, seemed put together. I had no reason to doubt his background. My family loved him, my dad especially. They'd talk about college football since Chris said he went to state. He knew enough about the school to make it believable. The campus, the teams, the traditions. He met my parents dozens of times over the years, had conversations about his fake college experience, his fake childhood, his fake everything, and I never suspected a thing. Now I was holding proof that none of it was real. The diploma he said was at his parents' house didn't exist. The family he mentioned didn't exist. Even his last name was different. He'd legally changed it 6 years before we met. I felt sick. Who was I married to? What else had he lied about? I heard his car pull into the driveway. Usually that sound made me happy. Now it made my stomach drop. I didn't know what to say, how to confront him, if I even wanted to. Chris came upstairs, saw me on the floor surrounded by papers. His face went white. "Where did you find that?" His voice was barely a whisper. "In a box in the closet, under your old sweaters. Want to explain why my husband's legal documents don't match anything he's ever told me?" He sat down on the bed, put his head in his hands, didn't say anything for a long time. "I lied to you," he finally said, "about everything. My family, my education, my past. All of it." "Why?" "Because I was ashamed, and I thought if you knew the truth, you wouldn't want me." "Try me." He took a breath, started talking, and what came out was nothing like I expected. Chris grew up in foster care, never knew his real parents, bounced between 7 different homes from age 4 to 18. Some homes were okay, most weren't. One was really bad. Bad enough that he got removed and the foster parents got arrested. He aged out of the system at 18 with nothing. No family, no money, no support. Just a high school diploma and whatever he could fit in a backpack. "I tried college," he said, "got into state with financial aid, but I had to work full-time to afford housing and food. I made it 2 years before I couldn't keep up anymore. Failed too many classes, lost my aid, had to drop out." "Why didn't you just tell me that?" "Because everyone I dated before you left when they found out. They'd say they understood, but then they'd pull away, stop calling. One girl told me she couldn't date someone with no family, that it was too complicated, too much baggage." He looked at me. His eyes were red. "When I met you, you were so normal. Good family, parents who loved you, college degree. You had your life together. And I was this guy who grew up unwanted with nothing to show for it. I thought if you knew, you'd see me differently." "So you made up a fake background?" I panicked. "You asked where I went to school and I said state because I did go there for 2 years. And then you assumed I graduated and I didn't correct you. Then you asked about my family and I said they lived upstate because I didn't want to explain foster care. Each lie built on the last one until I was too deep to take it back. You lied to my family, to my dad. You talked to him about football games you never went to. I know. I researched everything, learned the campus, the history, enough to fake it. Your dad was so proud that I went to his alma mater. I couldn't tell him I dropped out. And your name? You legally changed it? My birth name was tied to foster care records, to a past I wanted to forget. When I turned 22, I changed it, started over, became someone new. I didn't know what to say. Part of me was furious that he'd lied for 9 years, that our entire relationship was built on a false foundation. But another part of me understood. What about your job? I asked. Did you lie about that too? No, everything about my career is real. I taught myself to code, worked help desk jobs, took online courses, worked my way up. Everything I have professionally, I earned. That part's true. Just not the degree.
Just not the degree. I'm good at what I do, but I don't have the piece of paper that says I'm qualified, so I let people assume I do. We sat there in silence. I was processing, trying to figure out how to feel. Are you going to leave me? He asked. I don't know. You lied to me for 9 years. I know, and I'm sorry. I wanted to tell you so many times, especially before we got married, but I was scared, and the longer I waited, the harder it got. Did you lie about anything else? Other relationships, kids, criminal record? No, nothing like that. Just my background. Everything else about me is real. How I feel about you is real. I looked at the papers spread around me. This man I married, who made me coffee every morning, who called my mom on her birthday, who fixed things around the house and made me laugh and showed up every single day. That was real. The love was real. Just the backstory was fake. I need time to think, I said. Okay, whatever you need. I stayed at my sister's house for 3 days, told her everything. She was angry on my behalf, said I should leave him, that if he lied about this, he could lie about anything. But I kept thinking about why he lied. Not to hurt me, not to manipulate me, but because he was ashamed of things that weren't his fault. He didn't choose to grow up in foster care, didn't choose to have no family. He did the best he could with what he had. And yeah, he lied, but I understood why. I came home on day 4. Chris was at the kitchen table. He looked like he hadn't slept. I'm not leaving, I said, but we need to talk, really talk. No more lies. He nodded, started talking, told me everything about the foster homes, the abuse in one of them, how he lived in his car for 3 months after aging out, how he ate ramen for 2 years straight because it was all he could afford, how he used to steal toilet paper from public bathrooms to save money. He told me about dropping out of college, how worthless he felt, how everyone around him had families helping them and he had nobody, how he worked 3 jobs just to survive. He told me about changing his name, how he wanted to erase the kid who was unwanted and create someone new, someone worthy of love. I'm not ashamed anymore, he said. Not of surviving, not of working hard, but back then I was. I thought my past made me less than, made me unlovable. It doesn't. I know that now, because you love me, even knowing all this. I do love you, but you have to tell my parents the real story. No more lies. He was terrified, but he did it. Sat down with my mom and dad and told them everything. My dad was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Son, surviving what you survived and building the life you built, that's more impressive than any college degree. I'm proud of you." Chris cried. First time I'd ever seen him cry like that. We're working through it. Been in counseling for 4 months now, learning how to be honest, how to be vulnerable. Chris is learning that his past doesn't define him, that the people who love him won't leave because of where he came from. He's talking about going back to school, finishing his degree for real this time, not because he needs it, but because he wants to. I'm not going to pretend the lies don't hurt. They do, but I understand them, and I'm choosing to stay because the man I married is still the same man. I just know his full story now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more emotional true stories every day.